I'm having some issues. Hi guys, just waiting for Kerry to join us today. She's always on time. You get to watch me until she joins, just staring like an idiot. Here she is. Hi!
Hey.
I love that you're always on time.
Honestly, I'm never on time for anything, so you're lucky.
You know, when I did one with Jazz, she was 10 minutes late. And I was literally like, so guys, yeah, here's my face. How are you?
I'm all right, actually. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good.
It's snowy in London, but London, it never settles really, right? So it's a bit icy, but otherwise it's all right.
It's like that here. So I'm thinking it may settle tonight, but I'm not really sure, to be honest. Hopefully not. Who we got on here tonight? Hopefully it's a busy one. Quite a lot of people have been sharing this.
Yeah, I think it is just a topic that no one has really talked about properly yet, but it affects all of us, right? No matter what stage of your journey you're in, amateur, first timer, pro, we all have these kind of off-season struggles. And I've had so many messages from girls like that just relate to what we're saying. Like I did one with Erin Thompson already, and she is like completely embraces off season. She doesn't care what she looks like because she's got that goal. And then I did one with Hannah Wares, and Hannah cried, bless her. Love her so much because she hates her off season body so much. But she just, after our like message, she did an off season photo shoot. She looked incredible, and she even said like she couldn't believe that that was her in her current physique, you know. And it was so nice to see that kind of mindset change.
100%. I've been wanting to do one of them actually, just for that pure reason. Like I think it's like a really good thing to do. Like I would usually do them. Didn't get to do any last year because of like lockdown.
Yeah.
I guess I could have done them like online, but yeah, I just kind of didn't. And then again, the same like this year, I think I should do one, and I think I'm going to do that. Especially in lockdown, I think it's a great reason to even like dress up anyway. But I think
I did like my fake tan, and I did my makeup, and it was like, who's this?
Yeah, exactly.
Because lockdown, I honestly look homeless half of the time. But I did, I did a virtual shoot a couple of weeks ago, and honestly, I could not believe that was me right now, because I'm not just the heaviest I've ever been. I'm 10 kilos heavier than I've ever been.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I've really, this off season, I've taken a very different approach, and I've just embraced it. I've stopped worrying what I look like. I mean, I'm sitting in my house most of the time, right? So you can only see me from the shoulders up. And the growth, my muscle growth is insane compared to usual.
Exactly. Would you say, like, because in knowing you for like many years, I've always thought you kind of did embrace off season. Would you say?
I always thought I did as well.
Barrier.
So I usually sit 10 kilos, 12 kilos up on my stage weight, well, my pre-carb up weight. And I always felt fluffy, and I would always find myself explaining to people that I met in off season, you know, they'd expect me, oh, you're a bikini competitor, especially when I started to do really well. They expect me to look like that all year. And I'd find myself on dates and stuff like explaining why I don't have abs right now.
Yeah, okay, I get you.
And it was like, why am I making excuses for the body that I live in most of the time? And I was like 65 kilos. I'm 73 kilos today.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see the 70s. The first time I weighed myself, because I don't do it that often, I was like, damn. But it's so apparent that it's not just fat. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is more body fat than I've ever had.
Yeah.
But the progress I'm making makes me think, fuck it.
Yeah, and it's like the energy, the strength, like, so for me, like so obviously I've been competing since 2016, and I've always done from like, so I've always competed May to November, May to November, May to November.
Yeah.
So like I always used to find that in the first maybe like one, I think it might have been like a bit into the second one, but like I would almost like pull myself like back from eating more. Whereas like what's changed over the last probably, maybe 3 years, to be fair, is the fact that I actually, instead of going like, oh, I'm not going to eat as much today, I'm like, what? No, even if I've eaten more like the previous day, I'm still, no way. Like, you need to eat that food. And it's really funny. I was talking to Jazz yesterday, and I was telling her about this like weird thing I get, where it's like I feel like I need to panic eat. Where I'm like, if we're talking about growing or something like that, I'm like, oh, I need to eat.
Yeah.
like, or I want to eat more, or like, it's really strange. I think I did that a lot last year, to be fair. But it is weird as well how much your like body composition can change, because like I got like, you could see in photos that I got like real big last year for me, for my, but I'm actually only like 3 kg off of that right now, and I'm like completely different. So it is obvious how much muscle I did gain. Like I stepped on stage at like, so when I turned pro in 2019, November 2019, I went on stage at like 102 pounds. And then like last year, I went on stage at like 117 pounds.
Oh, okay.
That's a lot different. And like, I'll openly say like, I needed to be leaner through my glutes. But then when you look at both photos together from the year before anyway, like it's questionable, like about how, like the level of leanness I was actually pretty similar.
Yeah.
So
I think that that since I've known you, you've always stayed quite tight in your off season and made improvements. But then that off season that you're saying you got big on your frame, when you cut down, and you could see it before you cut down, but when you cut down, the growth that you had from that one off season where you'd kind of just embraced the weight gain was incredible. And it's part of the reason that I kind of did it myself. Like I saw your results. And, you know, we see some of our other friends that have done the same, Erin especially, Natalie Moncrief, like it's not that you don't care what you look like in the off season, but your goal is so big that you kind of keep one eye closed on what's now and keep looking at that goal, right, and working towards that, because we know we're going to diet it off.
100%. And you must have had a good training partner.
I was going to say something, actually. I really do feel that maybe it was being with Mark as well that helped you to accept your off-season physique being larger, because he probably loved it, right? Like, because being with Mike has helped me accept this body. Like, we met when I just started prep last year, and he had never been with a bikini competitor before, and he just couldn't believe how quickly I leaned up and I had a six-pack. Like 3 weeks into dating him, I had 6-pack out of nowhere. And he was just like, yeah, this is great. But when I put on 10 kilos, he was like, this is the body. And then I put on another 8 kilos, and now he's like, this is the body. Because
it's good.
It's sexy, right? All the curves. I mean, I look down when he's saying I look incredible, and I could literally just see cellulite and rolls. And I was just like, But he doesn't see any of that. He sees boobs and bum and thighs. And I'm like, men, I don't know, my male friends have really helped me to embrace it as well. Just how they see women and how they prefer the curves. I don't know a man that prefers me leaner.
Like I, towards the end of my like off season or whatever, like last year, or I started to prep and then obviously went back off of prep, which then put me in like another off season. So but I like, even so, like me looking back at photos now, like he'll sometimes try and like, I don't know, like just show me a photo from the past or something like that, and I will literally be like, oh my god, like, and to be honest, I'm like, oh, I never want to look like that again. I don't know how you were with me, blah blah blah. Like I say that, I'll openly admit that. Obviously the goal was strong, so you just kind of put your blinkers on and get on with it. But I was like, whoa, like, I never want to be like that again. That was a bit too much. But he's like, I just know, like I don't see it, like
doesn't see it, right?
It really really helps, even if I'm having like a day where I do feel a bit like uncomfortable in my physique or something, it's always like, remember the goal, or like, or like, basically like, you're mad, what are you on about?
I
Like,
think
I
being
like
with someone ambitious, being with someone else that's ambitious, and he obviously has his goals to get to Olympia. Like, my boyfriend's a powerlifter, so he's got this crazy deadlift that he wants to achieve. And so they understand the mentality about what we're doing and why. And I mean, he just tells me off when I talk. It's just my stomach and a little bit around here sometimes.
My face is my thing.
Yeah, my face
is generally my thing.
Yeah. Believe me though, Kerry, as you get older, the face gets leaner and leaner and you look older. So I'm like, obviously, I've got my off-season face. I look young. Like, people think I'm the same age as Mike. He's 13 years younger than me. And I'm like patting myself on the back for looking young. But when I prep and I'm leaner, I do look closer to my age or my age. I look like hell when I'm lean. That's the thing I was talking to Hannah about, is we don't even like our lean bodies. So, because it's too lean, right? Stage lean is really fascinating, and it's incredible how much work goes into it. But it's not a feeling that I like, feeling that tired or that hungry. I don't like being that small. When I look at my check-in videos from my last prep, I never want to look like that again. And that's what's fueling me, because I was too slim. I'm tall, I'm 5'8". I've got long legs. I need more muscle on them for them to look substantial. And I never want to look that skinny again. But I know I will look back to today and be like, I never want to be that big again either. Because I actually put a physique picture up this morning and I took it down after maybe 7 hours. I know it's so stupid because I look really fat. I don't. My legs look great. It's my stomach. I'm so bloated. But I had Indian last night, so what do I expect?
It's one of those things, isn't it? I think, like, for me this year, one thing that has been different is, like, I have had all these different, like, health issues going on and stuff.
Yeah.
And digestion. But, like, I actually haven't been taking as many check-in videos, and I prefer it. I'm just getting on. Like, I feel all right in my clothes. I'm still training really hard. I'm still eating, like, 2,000, like almost 2,600 calories. Like, I'm having my off-plan, like, couple of off-plan meals. One that I loosely track, and the other one that, like, is probably a bit more flexible, whatever. But, like, it is really funny. Like, I'm like you, like, so I would say my number one, like, dislike, as to put it, would generally be my face, and then it's my stomach. Like, when I up in off season, I'm like, how do I, like, people say, oh, you've got a small waist. Like, when I'm cut, but I go, like, straight in off season, and that really bugs me. But then at the end of the day, I think, as it is, you just have to remember the goal. You just have to let go. You really do have to just let go. Like, even when you've got that wobble, you just then need to go, oh, well, like, this is all in my control anyway, or towards something that I'm working to, and just really switch off to it, because it's the only way you're going to move forward. And, like, when I do think like that, I think I still couldn't undereat or whatever. If you undereat even on one day, like, it's not even going to make a difference. Just get over it and get on with it, and just embrace it, and just remember the other benefits that come with it. Now, like, for me, this year, a slight different approach, and maybe so, but I have a thought process, like, behind it, which I've spoken to, like, my doctor about. And so it's basically, I'm actually going to try not to get as big as I did, because when I'm dieting down from 30 pounds, so all my off seasons, I've always sat at like 22 pounds above. Okay. And then the last one, I was like 31 pounds above my previous stage weight. And I think that I, like, need to be a bit more health conscious as well, and to realize that putting on that amount of weight has to come back off. And I think because, like, you're pushing yourself that much, it's I think it's kind of had an effect on my digestion, because that's where the energy pushes away from first. So it will try and support all my other organs and everything to get away from that, and it puts you in, like, one of their mindsets, like, so yes, like, I still question myself this today. Like, I still question, do I need to get as big as I did last year to be able to gain that same amount of muscle?
Yeah.
Or do I not? And like, it's like, how do you
trial and error, isn't it? You just don't know, because it's so, oh God, will you marry me? It's so individual, isn't it? Because some people can make amazing progress and stay a little bit leaner. But my body type and my genetics, I lean up in a flash. I can just think about calorie deficit today and I'll lose a kilo straight away. But to gain muscle for me is much harder. And I thought that 10 to 12 kilos up that I usually am would be sufficient, because it's a lot. But actually, I didn't just start eating more though. I started eating more because I started training with Lily and Lily's Wellness, and those workouts, I needed the fuel. So it wasn't even like I'm eating because I'm hungry. I needed to recover so badly, because my volume has gone up by triple in my workouts. I've never, I thought counting to 20 was terrible. I never do 20 reps. She sits me down, and the very first set I ever did with her was 100 reps on the leg extension, just straight. They obviously wasn't just straight when I first started doing it, but now I can. But we often start our reps, our first like set of 50 reps. And it just goes down. Oh my God, it's awful. But that new stimulus plus all the new food has done me, it's so, when did I start competing? 2014. And it's only this year and last year that I've kind of worked out what works for me, just by trial and error.
Yeah, 100%. That's it. And to be honest, okay, let's put this into some other kind of context. So I was, like I say, I was 102 pounds. And then I had my monster off season that took me to like 100, and I think it's like 133 pounds or something, 134 pounds.
Yeah.
But then my new contest weight was right in the middle. So that's probably going to happen to you. So you're not necessarily going to have to diet like all that way, because you're going to a different weight. And that's something else.
Because your muscle matures as well, right? So your muscle looks different, even if it doesn't grow bigger. Yeah. It looks more dense, so it looks more substantial, because that's what's happened to me.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah. And, going back to the point where you said about taking check-in videos, for any girls that are watching, so I compete in PCA, and our front pose for our check-in is straight on. And even with a big, thicker waist, you've got your lat spread, you've got your X shape still. And it's a lot easier to see yourself like that. But if you do the two bros, the IFBB, MPC front pose, it's really unforgiving, isn't it? When you're heavier.
Yeah, it is, to be fair, because and like I get like that little like lower belly pouch thing.
Yeah, same.
Like most of us do, like we all do.
Yeah,
I think that's one of them things, isn't it? That like, I don't know, like everyone can like post for Instagram, and
we all know our angles, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I could get up right now and show you exactly, like it's not what it kind of is. And I think that's one thing that most people like should understand, like all the time, to be fair, because I think that can put people off of their off seasons as well. Like, to be honest, people probably do look at me and think that like maybe I'm like lean, or I don't know, but I feel like something weird's going on in my body this year. I'm trying to get to like the bottom of things anyway.
Sorry, my cat keeps wanting to come in, so just hi everyone. I've got to have him on my lap. With the kind of lower belly pouch thing that we all have, I just tend to wear higher waisted knickers to check in. I know it sounds so stupid, but when I wear my posing bikini's cut so low, the whole stomach's just like Father Christmas. And so it's not that I'm trying to hide it, because I know it's there, but it's just being a bit kinder to myself. I don't just stare at my stomach in my check-in pictures, but I've really started to focus on the improvements. So yes, of course, there's things that I'm not as happy about. My waist size is massive at the moment, but I'm just looking and thinking, damn, my bum's growing, my quads are growing. Exactly. I can see the things that are different. And really focus on your positives and keep on feeding that mentality, I think, rather than shit talking yourself, because we do it, don't we? And then we get in our heads and then we feel insecure and unconfident, and it's like there's other people looking at us thinking we've got their dream body.
And I think I think a few different like points. So I would say like I posted this last night, to be fair. There's so many different things that you like should really focus on that I haven't focused on before. And if you want to be in the sport for a long time, like you really need to focus on these things, like your menstrual cycle. Like I used to think it was a wonderful thing that I lost mine for so long, but no, like honestly you need that back. And if you want to grow, like mine was like 4 days late. So I competed 12 weeks ago and I've actually had 3 periods, which is absolutely amazing. One right at the beginning, bam. But the last one was like, I think it was 4 days late. And when it didn't come, because it was bang on the time before, I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to take another 3 or 4 weeks off now. Like, because for me, I was like, if it's not actually there, I always get into my head that I'm not making gains because my hormones aren't like as they kind of should be. I would say to everyone competing, get your blood work taken. Like I've been looking into mine recently, and I will share this soon. But your doctor may say it's fine, but for me, so let's take, I don't know, my testosterone levels, for example. Okay, they are considered fine. Okay, so I'm going to put this, like, make it a little bit easier. So you've got a scale of 1 to 5, and 1 to 5 is like your normal range. Okay, let's say mine's sitting at 1.5, and I've been told that's fine. And you want to say, is that really fine? Because that's not really fine.
Yeah,
it's normal range, but that's not fine. Why shouldn't it be at 5 at the top end of the normal range? So that's something I'm addressing, like, at the moment. So when you do get your blood work taken, you really do need to be like looking in depth. A new app that I've been working like on, it's called Chrometer. It's
amazing.
Joe Jeffrey showed me it. Working very closely with him recently, so that's like another big change for me this year. And we've been looking at like the really minute things. Like I'll be doing my blood glucose to make sure things. My blood glucose is too high at the moment. It's saying like pre-diabetic, like basically. And but again, this is like, it is actually really common. But the thing is, if you can get all of these different things like aligned, like Joe has been telling me and really opened my mind up to it all, it's like you will literally be able to improve so much more. So I think like I should have taken like everything more serious before, but I just didn't have the knowledge, or like I just didn't really have the knowledge, to be fair.
Don't you think that people kind of normalize the side effects that are like losing your cycle? Oh, you know, everyone does. And I never have, actually. So I'm always like, red flag. But to people that do, and they talk to other girls that do, and they're like, okay, well, she has, so it must be normal. And then they don't prioritize getting it back either.
And that's the after thing that's so important. So for me, it was never important until last year, until I met Mark, and he said, oh, I take like 2 months off post show. And I'm like, the fuck? Like, how?
Well, you know, I take a month off every time. I'm just exhausted.
And that's what I did. I took a month off. And then even so, like, I took 3 days off the other week, like 2 days off, like, and that's what I've done. Like, I did that last off season as well. Still made the progress, but people don't take that seriously. You'll watch a lot of people on Instagram, and if you know them personally, then you'll speak to them and you'll know this happens. But they will eat food when they get off stage, feel a bit shit about it, and want to basically train it off. And there is you going into that number 1 cycle that is going to repeat. Like, I've had so many clients that have suffered with it. This year, I've literally done to my clients what I've done to myself. And consecutively, 4 weeks later, literally 1 messaged me, cycles back, 2 messaged me, next day 3, all like bam. And I was like, hallelujah, because it proves to me that it works and it's important. But it's people will go straight back into the gym, feel guilty for eating food. They'll do more cardio, more training. Their calories will go up a little bit, then they'll come back down because they've they're so tired, they've overeaten. When you're tired, your leptin and your ghrelin levels, they shoot up and go all funny. Your hormones are shit anyway. And you're going to get hungry. You're going to put yourself into a cycle. You're going to gain more body fat quickly. Then you're not going to want to eat the food. Then you're going to eat the food. Body fat's going to go up high. It's just a cycle. You just really need to take control, like ASAP. Like straight when you get off stage. Trust me, take 4 weeks off. You'll know. Hunger level drop because you're not expending the energy. Your body fat level. I've been on, as soon as I stepped off stage, obviously I was in Italy, ate like 4 days like in Italy, ate, you know, cookie dealer, whatever, whoever, stuff like that. And then went bam, straight onto 2,200 calories. I'm 5'2", just come off stage. Now my calories then, obviously I just stayed on maintenance because why would I push my calories when I've got 4 weeks off of like activity? I was on like 8k steps. Then like at the 4 week mark, went back to training, pushed them up again, like, and I think I only pushed them up like 150. So I wanted to just do it slowly, see what happens. Then I pushed them up again. And now I'm at 2,580. I'm doing 6k steps. Some days I don't do steps. Some days I'm under, some days I'm over, whatever. I'm only like 3 point something kg up above. And that's because I've actually done it properly without like really overeating one day and then not really so you can have your calories high.
Who you have around you in that period is so important, because you're going to have if you just want to hang out with the other girls you met backstage and they're all binging, you're going to binge because you're with them and the cake is just there.
It feels okay. Oh, it's okay to do that.
I think that so many bad habits are normalized because of the people that you hang out with. But I'm really lucky. Like, I obviously have got just some great influences around me. I'm also really lucky that I don't really have as much of a sweet tooth. I will eat it all, don't get me wrong, but I'll never really crave. Apart from in the 2018 season, I thought I'd given myself an eating disorder. I've never had an issue with relationship with food, but I was so starving after I did World Championships. I could not stop eating. I was eating until I was heaving over a bin, like in public, at a fireworks display. And I just couldn't, my hunger signals were gone, you know, because my hormones were all over the place. And I was just eating and eating and eating. It was way too much. And I just remember I tipped myself over the edge. I had a gingerbread crumble, like a fruit crumble with gingerbread butter. I ate a ball of butter, basically. And I literally was heaving. I thought I was going to be sick. I couldn't be sick.
Yeah.
And my body was, all the signals were so wrong. And I just thought, I can't do this anymore. I can't compete anymore if it's going to lead to behavior like this.
Yeah.
But it was kind of my fault. I fucked my fats up. I was only having, I had a higher fat like yogurt in my prep plan, and I'm lactose intolerant, and I just had such bad stomach issues that I just swapped it out for 0% phage, which obviously I was on 13 grams of fat a day without even realizing, and it's just way too low. I'm so tall as well. And for really probably 8 weeks, and my body just desperate for those nutrients.
Of course.
But I'm really glad I did go through it, because I know it can never happen again, because I will learn from those mistakes, you know, and talking to the other girls and learning their experiences as well. I think it's so important to be honest and be open with your friends around you, your coach especially, and just tell them when you're struggling, because they will have little tips and tricks to help you out.
Yeah, and also, so I would say another thing is, like, there is no right way. No. So, for example, like, take myself, okay? So, like, I really like to macro track. And when I macro track, all I do is have a total calorie goal. So, let's take, for example, now, 2,580. And then I make sure that I hit 150 protein. The rest of that, I do not look at my carbs. I do not look at my fat. And it wasn't until Joe said to me the other day, oh, so you prefer having the higher fats then? And I was like, oh yeah, like, so I do. Like, it didn't even cross my mind. So it was just, I just do what I want. And like, to me, that makes sense to want fats, because like, that's what's like really important for, like, well, it is important for both males and females, let's be honest. But it's important for us for our hormones to balance, and they don't just balance your hormone. Even if you've got your cycle, even if you've got your cycle the whole way through prep, that is not like something to say, oh cool, well I don't need to have my bloods tested because like I've got my period, so everything's fine. Like it's not. You've got to make sure obviously all different hormones are balanced, but yeah, I'm always drawn towards fats like that. So again, there is no like right or wrong way. So even if like you think now, oh my god, maybe I should be macro tracking, but you like a plan, then stick to your plan. That's fine. But like one thing I like to like push is like I'm in it like all year round. I'm in it all year round. I want the best results. I like, you know, I want to go to the Olympia. Like I want to progress, but also, and I hope, I guess I haven't really been able to do it, but I used to. Like I used to post that I went out like in my season. Like I used to go out every weekend, and like, at the point where I was like, shit, like I can no longer drink anymore. It's actually effing my training up.
Yeah.
Didn't mean I didn't like want it, but I think it's important, like because there are some people on social media that are like so to the point, and it can make people feel like anxiety, like I'm not doing it, like, I'm not doing enough, like I'm not doing enough, like basically. And I just want to say that as much as like, yeah, I do all the minute things and stuff like that, I am very much like relaxed as well. Like I fell asleep the other day and I just didn't want to train, so I didn't train.
Yeah.
Like
I've really tried to show that you can be so balanced and have other priorities and still be successful, because I drink alcohol. Now, don't get me wrong, in the last year, because of the lockdowns, haven't really been drinking that much because I live on my own. And that's a bit of a problem. But previously, yes, I would. And what you said about the not training effectively after drinking is exactly why I'm more conscious of it. It's not the calories at all. It's how it affects my training. And all my coach says to me is, please God, just be consistent with your training and eat enough. Hit your protein.
That if you could take anything away from this today, it is literally be consistent with your training.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've always said. Be consistent with your training. And like, to be fair, like a calorie is a calorie.
Yeah.
So as long as you're hitting your protein goal, like, okay, yeah, you have to think of things like cholesterol and things like that, you know, but at the same time, like, you want to cook it, eat it. Like, don't be thinking, I have to have, and I actually had this conversation, sorry, Jazz, if you're still here, to bring you up again.
She's here.
But, like, I had this conversation, like, yesterday about, like, when I said to her, like, oh, I think I said, oh, I really wanted, like, chocolate the other day. So I wanted, like, an actual full, like, bar of chocolate. And then part of me was like, oh, maybe you should have some oats and then you won't want it. And then I was like, dickhead, like, I want it. Like, why have the oats? Because then sometimes if you do have the oats, you're still not satisfied. And then you have the chocolate and then you've had it all. So you might as well just go, you know what, like, I'm going to eat this full chocolate bar and I don't want the oats, so I'm not going to have the oats. To just really think about what you actually, like, do actually want and what is going to satisfy you. Because that actually might help with, like, if you do get cravings, because you know, I could have stopped at half it, but I just wanted to, like, I just wanted to eat the chocolate bar, like, and afterwards I was just like, cool, just.
Joe, I never regret food. Like, food is obviously fuel, but it's also good for the soul. I just try and make sure that when I'm eating the more calorie dense stuff now, it's because I want it, not because it's just there. So I don't actually buy it in my groceries. And then if I want it, I've got to make an effort to get it. You know, I've got to order it in, or I've got to go out and get it. And then it's like, can I be bothered? If I really want it, I will go out and get it, you know, or order. Domino's cookies with the ice cream. They sell that 500 calorie ice cream. Oh my God, it's so good. Is it? Sometimes the Domino's driver is like, hello again. And I'm like, it's been a hard lockdown. But I'm training so hard and so consistently that I don't feel guilty for eating that calorie dense food, and I'm still hitting my protein. But you know what? I meal prep all year. So so I cook 4 full days worth of food. So it's like 3 meals a day is prepped. One of them is another additional meal is going to be oats or something. And then my dinner, or whatever you want to call it, meal 4 or 5, is whatever I want, you know. And sometimes it's something really bro, you know, like literally rice and chicken and veg, and sometimes it's whatever I fancy, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like because I cook so much whole food, that's why I keep my body composition a lot tighter, because I eat a lot of shit as well. Like, but yeah, I really do feel like meal prep. I only, if I'm honest, I do it because to save money. Because I work in a corporate job, so if I was trying to buy lunch out every day at prep, I'd be spending £20 to be full. I can't afford that.
So there's a question here that I want to answer. Do you think quality of food is just as important as how many calories of? To be fair, on the grand scheme of things, I would say this is like a double answer really, because I would say it is important that, like, for your actual health
and for
like,
fuel,
and,
right?
for me, so I will eat. So it's clear to me now that dairy isn't great for me and gluten isn't great for me. However, and like my skin, this is a huge reflection on my skin, because my skin is still like pretty perfect at the moment. Oh my god, it's gonna flare up.
Yeah, you've just jinxed it.
Oh, I have. But this season compared to last, like I was eating cookies like almost every day last time.
You do love a cookie, mate.
Oh, I do love a cookie. I still eat it now, but not as frequently. And like I don't eat the chocolate as frequently. And if I do eat the chocolate, it's like gluten free. So I would say, like, I know that's going like a little bit off, but I would say that you do need to make sure. And again, something that I kind of neglected last year was like my micronutrients. So actually looking at everything, like your sodium, your like potassium, every single thing, like making sure you're hitting all vitamins through food, like, as much as you can. And again, this is something that I've actually just learned so much more recently since like joining Jeffrey, like, because he's making me nail all these things. But it's good because I feel like with his platform and then my platform, I can help get this out there. So my answer would be, it is important to look at quality of food. However, like, if you've hit all your like kind of targets and stuff, like, it doesn't mean to say that are good and bad foods, because there are not good and bad foods. And like, he won't tell me like, you know, that's bad being on your like, because it's not, because it's just, you need to make sure that like the variety of food is there. So you're getting a good variety of like the good stuff, quote unquote, like the good stuff, and then the other good stuff, like cookies.
The soul food
is important. It is all important.
My coach thinks that I lean up really well because I have such a variety of food in the off season. So I just use those Gusto boxes, and you choose 4 recipes a week, and it's different every week, but you're still eating the same. And you still choose what you want. That's brilliant. And I only started it because obviously when we are prepping, so in regards to that question, we're talking off season, but obviously when we are dieting and we're in a calorie deficit, the quality of the food is so important, and the volume. But I just, when I cook like that, I forget how to cook when I come out of the prep, and I'm just like, it's just literally like chicken breast, rice, tomatoes. And I'm like, well, this is crap. I can eat something a bit tastier now. Let's make a curry or something.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's another thing like that's important to remember as well, is like that you can actually make really interesting food still. Like, and if you do struggle with like variety of foods, and you know, like, because it is really, really good for your body to be eating like, you know, rice, oats, eggs, like all these different things. But if you often you can like actually forget about foods. So maybe like a good idea would be to actually like just write out a really long list of foods. I used to do this, and I'd be like, oh shit, I forgot about that food, and I'd have that, and like, so I would have like a good and a like treat list as well, as so to put it. So my treats were always like different as well, but now they're not, they're only cookies. But
do you feel like now you have built your physique to the point you have, you're not going to need to do this kind of big weight gain again? Because so for me, for example, I've still got lagging body parts, my legs, because of my injuries. So I feel like I have to do this heavy bulk again to try and get as much muscle mass as possible in a short amount of time, because I'm going to compete this year. Whereas when my physique is more complete, I will be able to kind of rein it in a little bit and just make the tweaks instead of trying to go full blown hypertrophy 24/7.
to be honest, I don't think that, from a personal level, I don't think that I have hit that place yet. So I don't think that I have hit the place that you're saying that maybe you think I've hit, where I have got a muscle and it is about the fine retreat. I don't think I've hit that place yet. So like, that's a hard one. Like, I guess, like, yeah, I would need to go to that place again. But then that's the same question that I'm wondering is, do I need to go to that place again to gain have that transformation? So I guess maybe I'll find that out, because like I'm still lifting the same weights like that I did last year, like at the moment, give or take. Like I've improved a few lifts, but obviously I'm only 8 weeks into training now. So and I know that this off season's like, so it was a shorter off season before I then had to end my prep and go into another off season last year. So like this one I know is going to be longer, therefore like I'm doing on my body. But I don't know. I honestly, I can't answer that. Like I don't know. Like I'm really hoping to gain that muscle like again.
Of course.
You know?
Of course.
It'll be interesting to see, because it's just trial and error, I suppose. Like I'm trying to do it in a bit of a different way. I suppose like last year I kind of got to a point where it was literally like no fucks given, and I just kind of kept panic eating. Weirdo. But I
do that. I'll get, after this I'll be like, how much protein have I had today? Oh my god, I better have a double scoop of whey.
I just get this thing where I'm like I just like will go over my calories or like whatever. But this year I'm just trying to like take things a little bit more slower, and like I'd say for me my calories are already quite high at like 2000, like almost 2600, like 2 off-planish kind of meals. When I did my off season before this one, like so last off season my calories were 2300. You can already see a difference there, like where I am. I'm actually on 2580 now. But I gained more body fat last year. But then you question, okay, I wasn't actually eating right to that plan, so yeah, my calories were higher. But the year before that, I was on like 3500 calories. Like it's just a weird, like I don't know really what happened last year. Just
how's your sleep though in both ones? Because this year I've gained a lot more muscle mass, but I'm also sleeping 2 hours more a night, because I'm a 6-hour person. You know, I work in London, I've got a full-time job, then I do this, I try and have a social life, try to fit it all in. Whereas now, because of lockdown, I've been given the gift of time, so I'm not commuting to work anymore. You know, it saves me an hour and a half a day. And I really have been able to work on my sleep hygiene. And I do feel like, because I'm better rested, I'm recovering better, I've got more energy in the gym, and then I'm growing, and I really do feel like it's because I'm sleeping better.
So that's an interesting one. I've stopped taking like a ZMA because I felt like I wasn't resting, which is bizarre, because that's what it's kind of like meant to do, right? But I was getting such like nightmares and stuff that I stopped doing that. And my sleep quality actually hasn't been that great, but it's due to the digestive issues that I've been having. Like it's really bizarre. So my sleep actually probably hasn't been in its best place, to be quite honest with you. And this off season has been a little bit worrying, like for me, because of the results that I got back from one of my tests. It was saying that I'm only storing 5 grams so I eat 20 grams of protein and I'm only storing 5. So I'm in a really, really bad place of being able to grow like muscle. Like the glycogen isn't going into my muscles as it should be. So I'm not ever getting a pump or anything. That's why we're sorting all these problems out again with Joe. So yeah, I am actually a bit worried, like that I'm not actually gaining as much, and I do always feel like I look flat and that I don't look half as good as what I looked in the last off season. But this is, again, like I'm saying this and I'm being open and honest about it, because I can't stress enough how much, like how important our actual health is, because like there's no way so I've always done hard preps, okay? Like everyone will say prep's really hard, but like I would say that mine have been, from how I coach people and stuff like that, mine have been like exceptionally hard, and it's kind of all explained to me now, like as to why. and I don't know how that really happened. Um, maybe it was from like my first year of competing or my second year when things went really low and it wasn't addressed properly afterwards and stuff. So that's why I really am stressing like health, like
Yeah.
real health, and really taking time off and really looking at your sleep and all the little, you know, like it's not normal to have bad digestion, even in the off season. Like it's not normal to like not be going to the toilet, and
Yeah.
these things are shrugged off like they really are. And yeah, it's horrible. It makes me really sad because like it's almost like I've done it to myself, but it's through the like lack of knowledge that I had.
Yeah. I do feel like younger girls now, especially, or new competitors, they've got access to so much resource and so much knowledge for free on Instagram, especially. Whereas when we started competing, it just wasn't like that. There weren't even that many scientific coaches, you know, like Joe is probably, if I was going to leave my coach, I would be going to Joe or Muscle Mentors, because they're so evidence-based and they're constantly educating themselves. And I think that it's so valuable, that kind of knowledge, compared to my first coach was bodybuilder in the gym, you know, my PT, that literally just used to say, okay, just have half the rice now from now on. Oh yeah, half the rice. Like, and do you know, and I'd be like, what does this mean? And I just do it. And I ate the same meal, fish and rice and a few asparagus sticks, and my only fat was like 9 almonds a day. Oh my God. Like fish and a rice cake, basically. It was me for 8 weeks. I fainted so many times, and I just kept going because that's what I was told. I walked in and I burst into tears when I saw him one day, and he went, do you know how I know you're following your plan? He went, you're crying. You're meant to cry. Like, it's meant to be hard. And now I work with a coach who cares about my health. You know, like we always build in now extra time into my prep for me to be ill, because I get really run down and I need to have 2 weeks or a week off completely in the middle of my prep and just go back to maintenance, no training. So she does that because she cares. You know, just before British finals, I was in hospital with my asthma and I was freaking out. You know, I can remember, I'm sure we spoke, and I was like, I've got to get my steps in, you know, like
you were out.
And I had to take a week off completely because I couldn't breathe. So I just kept my diet tight, but I still made the same progress as if I had, you know, because she cares about my health. And there's going to be some coaches that will be bullish and try and push you further than, you know, they're there to push you for far. It's hard. But there's got to be that point where you know it's unsafe and you have to stand up for yourself and say something.
100%, literally. This is literally it. It's like, as well, like with my clients, I will always promote, like I'll always push rest. Like I don't even, do you know, I know scientifically like deloads are like blah blah blah, but I literally just give my clients a week off. I literally just say, just don't worry about, we're gonna literally take a week off, because I just find that is more beneficial. It gets,
I do that
allows your like liver and like everything to like recover like properly by actually allowing the time off. So yeah, there's a level, and again, like it will be different for me, I'm sure, this year, because I've kind of always been go as in like,
I mean, you broke your leg or something and you were still training, and I was like, mate, what did you do?
That's
your calf.
That's through my choice, to be fair. Like if you could see some of the videos, like I had the blinkers on last year big time. Like even like Mark will say, he's got videos of me holding my stomach and limping. Like even Hader, his friend, like came to the gym and like even came up to me while I was doing the cardio, like are you really sure you're going to be able to take your best by doing what you're doing to your body right now? But I'm so like, so I think like having, even my coach at the time like said to me like, let's change your plan, and I'm like, no we don't, we carry on. But I don't make my clients do that, so why do I do it to myself? And then I'm in now, like I don't make my clients do that. I give them like double days off or triple refeeds, or like think about their health. I look at their sleep, I look at their cycle, like, you know. So yeah,
it's all, you just learn from making mistakes though, right? And the thing is, you'll become a better coach as well, But you'll also be a better friend to the rest of us that will confide in you and say, maybe some people will not say it on Instagram, but you'll know what they're actually doing. And you'll be able to say, listen, I'm speaking from experience here, and people will respect that.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, that's like, I need to get a drink. Mark, you listening?
Got coronavirus. Mark's too busy waiting to troll you. He's just waiting for one comment. I want Mark to bring out a Mark Hector glute guide, because is he taking the piss?
I know.
I want a bottom like that. You've got some good set of glutes in that house, I must say.
Thank you. We work hard for them. He does exactly what I do, to be fair. We both do glutes and hamstrings together. He'll do kickbacks. We started with kickbacks today. We both do it's sick, because I can actually, like, most people will be like, they don't really do them things.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah, can you hurry up? I'm like, I can't talk much.
She's joking. I'll talk. See, I can't train with my boyfriend because he lifts so heavy, because he's a power lifter. So we just train at the same time. So whenever we see each other, we go to the gym, we both do our sessions, and it means that we're both working towards our goal, but we still get to spend time together afterwards, and I'll get to have a little perv when he's doing his squats.
We actually train together, but like, say he'll do so we'll both, let's just take for example like delts or something. He likes to do his on the Smith, and I like to do mine like dumbbell. But actually I've been doing them on the Smith recently anyway. But we do just unload and re-rack, like, to be fair. But yeah, I definitely think like we both learn a lot from each other, like through.
That's why I'm such a good deadlifter. Like, Mike's one of the best deadlifters in the country, so everyone's like, you've got a good deadlift, and I'm like, why do you think?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
he taught me how to do it properly. I do think just surrounding yourself with the right people, not just for learning like that, but just to help you feel happy and secure, is so important, especially in the off season where you might not feel as confident, or you might not feel like you're at your best. I mean, I really am having such a positive interaction with my physique at the moment, even though I'm so big. But there are still the days like today where I took a picture down, which is so stupid.
We all have these times.
Yeah.
Honestly, we just do. That is facts. Like, I looked at my photo yesterday that I posted last night, and like kept looking. Like, I wasn't going to post it, and then I just thought, you know what? Like, why the fuck not? Why not? Like, it is what it is, and like I need to be like honest and transparent and all that shit. So yeah. But I do see there's some questions on here. I'm just wondering, is there any questions that people do want to ask? Because I know that we have deviated and gone here, there, and everywhere, which is probably useful. But is there any good questions on here?
I think I've seen. Oh my god, what's happened here? There is a person that's asked about specifics to her, like what can you do if you are competing 2 peak weeks back to back. But to be honest, Tamsin, you have to speak to your coach, because it depends on what you look like, what your goals are, what your diet is like I could be able to eat all week if I'm doing 2 shows this year. I'm going to do PCA, and then 1 week later I'm doing Amateur Olympia. 2 completely different looks. So I'm going to come in so dry and tight for PCA, and then I'm probably going to spend my peak week eating so much food to soften up for Amateur Olympia, because they're 2 different federations. So but that's specific to me,
and it's completely because say you do the first show, and it's just completely different. Like, it literally, I can't even explain.
It really does depend on, but you just need to speak to your coach. If you're prepping, you should literally speak to your coach about everything.
Yeah.
As Kerry said about even going to the toilet, sometimes that happens. I'll tell my coach.
I need to know stuff, because there's so many things like, I've stopped working with like Skinny Food Co and stuff. Like, some of the stuff doesn't agree with me. I like the coffee and I like the flavor drops. And
the sweet.
But and so even like going to the toilet and stuff, you have to be really like on it. I like to know everything, and my clients will be like, but that's normal for me, and I'm like, that's not normal. Do you know what I mean? So just be open and honest, ask your coach, and if you just feel like you kind of can't, then maybe you need to like go elsewhere. What's this? Thank you. Were you out?
Yeah.
Oh, he was actually out. Listen, he was at Tesco's. He heard it. That's why he said
Oh,
1 minute.
bless him. Oh, bless him.
Repping compact there. See that?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Natalie saying you look strong and athletic. I hope you're talking to me, Nat.
I think she's talking to us.
But we all do, right? We all look
this is
strong and we all look healthier with a little bit of increased body fat. And we are too hard on ourselves. And we need to remember that, as you said, it's smoke and mirrors. I know how to hide my stomach. Right now, I could take a picture where I look 72 kilos and I could take a picture where I look 62 as well.
Shall I do an example?
Yeah, let's go for it.
I'm just going to get myself out. Just check I've got a bra on, yeah? Excuse the outfit. No,
there's no OnlyFans here, Kerry.
Like, to be fair, you can literally... This is what I'm like, guys. Like, you can make yourself... If I have these trackies here and I'm pushing back,
yeah,
like, it really looks great. But then
tiny
here and hips forward, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just it's the same with the glute thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, push that butt out.
Normal. Like, we've all got this.
Yeah.
So we're here today. I'm probably sure you can see I have skin, I have rolls, like we all do. So yeah, there you go. That's,
well, I better not be getting my fucking stomach out right now.
But
after a full day of eating.
It's just one of them things, isn't it? I don't feel like I do enough of that. And maybe that's because I do have like insecurities and stuff myself, but like it just is what it is when we sit down, you know. Like, there's some of my clients watching here, so I'm glad. But like, we have roles when we sit down. We have some, like,
everyone does though.
Like,
I just think, you know, I've been posting a lot more of my fuller physique and I lose followers, yes, but I also get so many people messaging me, thanking me because they never see athletes in this stage of their off season usually, or we hide it. It's not that we don't post the pictures, but we'll do the little twist and the push. And it's been like a form of therapy for me to help me accept my current physique because this is who I am.
Same as me. It helps me too. Like, that's why I speak about these things. That's why I document. What does it say? Do you guys have any advice for mindset when you're starting along off season, everyone prepping and feeling self-conscious? Yeah, it can be really difficult, but then like just if you can really get obsessed with that like end goal, you'll have them wobble moments when like your mindset does slip off and you're like jealous of jealous of them people prepping, but then you just think how much extra gains you're making. And it's almost like, while I'm making gains. Like,
do you know what I do? I visualize that show. So whatever your next show is, that is your big goal. I visualize walking forward in first place on that day and them calling Natalie Moncrief second. Hi, Nat. No, but I mean, I did that for the British. I literally visualized someone else being called forward second and myself in the first. And when I start to wobble and I start to think about, I should do a little mini cut, I start to think about myself being called forward in second place. Yes. And there's nothing worse than second place, right? Because you're so close.
Exactly.
But yeah, just use those visualizations. And I honestly don't look at my stomach. I get out of bed and there's a mirrored wardrobe. I don't look at it anymore when I'm first getting up. I'm just trying to make sure my clothes fit in the off season. I think that's so important. Like, just get a bigger size.
I wear a medium now. Like, I wear a medium. Carly's like, how? I must have lost my glutes because you're wearing the same size as me. But I'm like, no, because it's not tight around my waist.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me feel better. And then I'll have a tight pair on and I'm like, I'm obese. So
like,
after yourself in that respect, like, make sure you are wearing things. But also, like, Jodie, just remember that, like, to like the Gen Pop, and obviously you've seen yourself very, very lean, but just remember, like, you actually look amazing. You look strong, aesthetic. Just remember your health, everything like that around it as well. Keep focusing on them things, and it does get easier as you start to adjust to like your body composition a little bit more. It gets easier. So
I think focus on the other stuff, like focus on your logbook. Like, it's so amazing when you see your strength going up. Yeah. And you're doing your PBs and it's like focus on that, because that's what the food is doing for you. And you know, some of your friends that are feeling hella shit and they're starving, and you're going to bed with a smile on your face and a pump in your muscles.
Yeah.
And
Remember,
yeah,
like,
I really do focus on performance. Also, sometimes you just have to not consume that triggering information. So you might have to mute some people that you follow because they're extremely lean right now and it's triggering. Or you might have to unfollow certain pages. I think it's so important.
Wrong with it. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing them things either. So don't feel like there is. Sometimes you just need to protect your mental health, but at the same time, just focus on your journey. Just focus on like your journey. It's your time. So what's this say? It's not my off-season body. It's my body. Yeah, and I really like that. That is true.
She learned it from me. Oh yeah, because I started to stop calling it my off-season body. This is just my body.
Yeah, exactly.
And then my extraordinary body is my prep body. That's the weird one. And then this is just my physique. That's very true. I don't call it off-season body to my friends or to myself. And I think the language you use to yourself is so important, because you live in your own head 24 hours a day, right?
Yeah.
So I really try to choose my words carefully when I describe myself or think about myself and what I look like now. And it is stuff like strong and healthy and like, it's curvy sexy. I don't know how it took me so long to realize this, because I've been skinny my whole life and thought it was fine. And now I'm like, I much prefer being this size to being the size 6 that I used to be before I started training. So I had no shape. I was just up and down.
And you know, this probably is going to sound like a bit weird, but like, so because I'm only like almost 8 pounds above my stage weight, which actually isn't a lot, like I actually can't wait to probably be around 14 pounds.
Yeah.
My good kind of, that's, yeah. But I actually can't wait for that, because I think I'm going to feel a lot more like, I'll probably feel more confident than I do now.
It's empowering, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think the weird thing is, it's like the number on the scales, I don't care who you are, but it does seem to affect you. So if it does, just try and like stay away from it.
Weigh yourself. Yeah.
To be honest, like I would say I'm actually more okay with that. Like the other week before I came on my cycle, I actually went up 1.5 kilos. And like usually I would go like, oh my god, like to Mark, like I'm 1.5 kilos up. Like where has that come from, or what's happened, or like something like that. But I think I said like later on in the day, oh, by the way, I weighed myself this morning. I was 1.5 kilos up.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like because you just have to like, you really have to try and switch off to it. I think that it just depends on what mood you're in, really, because sometimes it can affect you and sometimes it can't. But like fluctuations happen like crazy with us women. You can have more sodium like one day to the next, less sodium, or like less to drink, a few more steps that have dehydrated you a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or like it's crazy, or a heavy leg day is going to cause maybe inflammation or something like that. So I think
but do you know what I make sure that I do? I live the way I live when I'm leaner and comfortable. I still do that now. So for example, I'll still wear sexy lingerie for my boyfriend without thinking, oh my god. I just make sure it fits properly.
Yeah, 100%.
Or I do these off-season photo shoots. So I've never done a photo shoot with more than a week's notice. So I'm quite adept to not dieting. I just make sure, obviously, that week I don't have any sweeteners, like nothing bloating.
For me, I wouldn't have like gluten, let's just say.
The off-season photo shoots, especially the virtual ones, because you're comfortable in your own house anyway, I think they're absolutely amazing, because obviously the photographer's job is to showcase your best look anyway, and they're going to help you do that, and you're going to look at those photos and think, damn, I'm hot, you know, this way. And it happened to me a couple of weeks ago. Lily did a photo shoot the same day. She couldn't believe how good she looked. Hannah Wes, with the same photographer. I think that don't say no, just go for it, because there's a lot of photo shoots that I've been offered by brands in my off season, and if I'd said no, I wouldn't currently have 3 of my sponsorships. I wouldn't have met those amazing people that I met that day, have those memories, have those laughs, because I just would have felt oh, I can't go. I didn't go to Body Power one year because I felt too fat. It's so ridiculous.
Wow.
I must have been 58 kilos or something stupid.
Yeah.
But I kind of stopped myself from having any opportunities because I felt like people were looking at me, but no one's looking at me.
100%.
You know, we
Yeah.
care way more about what we look like than anybody else in our lives. Like,
definitely. Yeah, I agree with you. And the thing is, like, if you were to just cut your head off and put someone else's head on it, how would you comment on that photo? And that's something I always like. That's what I ended up doing yesterday. I was like, okay, if that's not my head on it and that's someone else, what would you say about them? And you would be like, you're amazing, like all these things. I can see a question here. What would you both
if it's
do
the bicep one, completely ignore it because I know exactly who that is.
No, this is from so what would you both do to make sure you're going into an off season at optimal health? Blood test, coach's opinion, or something else? So I would make sure that you do get your bloods done and get that sent over to me. Okay. And I think like this is the most important time to be very open with a coach on like obviously how you are actually feeling. Like I know you, and we've had conversations about tiredness, things like that, and how I think you should have more time off, and then you've sometimes been like, oh no, but it's just like this is the time to take the time off. And do you know what I mean? And like
rest is so important
in big, like you need to be like, I would say even to you, and I think I've said this to you, you need to be so open with your coach on like everything, like everything that you're feeling, and never feel like you can't. So, and I know you're my client, but that is literally what it is, and that's how I like people to be, and you know that. So
yeah. I think that communication with your coach is the most key thing to having a successful prep and a successful transition from prep into off season, because that's the hard bit, the transition. Just tell them everything. I've got a friend and she was doing a cut and she never told her coach that she was hungry, but she was starving. And then X amount of time in, many weeks later, she commented that she was hungry, and he finally said like, oh good, you're hungry, like it's starting to work. And I was like, she'd been hungry for weeks and weeks and weeks, you know. And I just thought if she told him that earlier, maybe he would have made adjustments, maybe not, but at least he would have had all the information to be able to support her.
This is it. Like you should literally not be like, you should not hold back on like absolutely anything, even if it's like, let's say something ridiculous, like you're feeling like anxious of a coffee. Like I want to know that shit. Like everything just needs to come out, because, and it's even the same, like as much as like you might not want to say, but even if you've got things, obviously you don't have to say exactly what, but if you've got things going on in your life, these are stressors, so this can actually affect things like to do with your physique, and you know, like you might shoot up on the scales like 3 pounds, and you know, like if I don't know anything, I might just think, okay, she's like, maybe she just hasn't told me, or maybe she doesn't want to tell me she's eaten more, when actually you could have been in bits the day before because you've been so stressed about X, Y, Z. But like, I don't know that. Like, do you know what I mean? So being open with like your coach is absolutely like vital. And in it, like, if I don't know anything, if I don't know how to respond to like something you've got going on, or I don't know enough about something, like I'll always admit to you and then go and research it or ask someone else and find out and come back to you. Like, and that's how it should be with your coach anyway. And in off season, your coach should be on you like as much as, or you should have the same contact. You should be on them, they should be on you, because it works both ways, as much as like a contest prep, because this is a really important phase. And if you can't get this right, then like you're then going to have like your prep's not going to be as successful. You need to remember in like this phase now, this is setting you up. Some people feel lost in off season, like for me right now. So I don't have a next show date. If I can get my life sorted out, my health sorted out, then I want to compete this year. And I just because I haven't got a set date, like doesn't mean that I'm not getting ready for that still. Like, I'm doing everything I'm doing now to get ready for my next show, but I can't tell you when it is. But I don't feel lost or anything because I know it's there. So if you can always remind yourself that it's still there, then I think that's a really big help through the improvement season as well.
I think so. I really focus. So my first couple of off seasons, I just thought it's downtime, you know, and I didn't really work towards that goal of, say, more hamstrings, for example. And I went out drinking and I enjoyed my food, and you know, every prep was fine, but I hadn't made as much improvements because I didn't take it seriously, because I underestimated just how important off season is. Off season is what gives you your stage shape. You know, it's where you build your muscle, and to diet it off, it's difficult, but actually it's also easy. It's now. So now I just focus on the gains, and that's what gets me through. I've had 2 years off. Like, I'm bringing something different this time, and that's what I keep focusing on. It's exciting, and you check in with your coach, and they can see under your bad bits anyway. That's their job, and they will point out to you what you're doing, and it's worth it, and it will just keep you motivated. But you have to be honest with them when you feel rubbish. And the thing you said about stress, so in 2018 I had a great boyfriend then. He dumped me by text message on the Tuesday of peak week for finals. And so the week before I'd won PCA London. So I was like, hold on, I might have a chance here at British. And he dumped me by text. We've been together for almost a year. I was literally like, are you fucking joking? And obviously I was like, no, I'm not having it. If you want to dump me, you can dump me on Sunday. But I had to send my coach a voice note going, do you know what? I'm not sleeping because I'm stressed. I'm watery because I'm stressed, because this has happened. And she knew how to calm me down and what to focus on and the things to say to get me back on track, because that week is so important, isn't it, for stress? Like,
it really is, exactly. And again, that's just why you have to be honest with absolutely everything. Food struggles, even if you're like embarrassed of things, like a lot of people pick up eating disorders. It happens, unfortunately. Some people don't want to be honest about these things,
especially digestive issues, right? Like,
digestive issues. There's so many different issues. You just got to be so like open and honest. And if it's something out of your coach's, like, you know, then maybe it might sound like that you need to go to the doctors for, or, you know, something like that. But I think just but talking about going back to like progress as well, like, I think one thing is you can't get complacent. Like, you need to know that like there is always someone working harder than you. So eat your food and train hard. Basically,
just detach away from feeling uncomfortable, and know that what you're doing now and how uncomfortable you feel is going to pay dividends when you come to your dieting phase. And it's never that far away. As this coronavirus thing has shown me, a year can fly by. Like, it's been long, but it's been quick as well. Like, how's it been a year?
And I can't remember what I was going to say. I was going to say something. What the? I don't even know. Sorry, can't remember.
Has anyone got any final questions for us? Because we have been on here a long time, because we love a chat. It has been a really good chat. But if anyone has got any final questions for Kerry, please
honestly,
do
anything at all. Like, just send them through. Go for it.
And I will continue doing these lives anyway. And I may even loop back to some of the people, like Hannah, I'd really like to have back on now she's had her photo shoot, and see how she feels about herself now. Because she really, really didn't like the way she looked. And then she was just like, wow, that's me. And I was like, girl. But yeah, it has been really, really great. And have you got anything else that you want to say before we let these wonderful people go? This biceps person just completely ignored them.
I just hope that, I know we've spoken a lot of different things, but I just hope that, like, my main point of this is just look after your health, because it will come back and bite you in the arse. Like, people will probably know me as like someone that just pushes and pushes and grinds, but like, it can come back and bite you in the arse, and I'm not afraid to say that. And you will see me in the sport for a long time that, like, you probably wouldn't have if I didn't take this control that I did now. So I just really want to stress, like, health big time. It's so important. It's really nice to see these comments as well that you guys are really,
do you know, I'm going to say something. I'm not going to name names, but this is how normalised terrible side effects can be. When we were backstage at the British for PCA, we were all asking, this was a topic of conversation amongst the British champions, who shit themselves this week. Because that's obviously your digestion's fucked.
Oh, right, okay, I get what you mean. I was like, what?
And these girls, like, we're just existing on black coffee and vitamin C, right, or something, stuff that really upsets your stomach. And it was just like, everyone was laughing, like, oh, who shit yourself this week? Yeah, I did. Oh, I did. Ha ha ha. And it's not actually that funny when you think about it in off season, and you realize it's because your body's crying out for help if it's acting like that. That the healthful way to do it, it's not a healthy sport, it is extreme, but you can do it in a more healthy way if you have the right coach and the right people around you. And I really would just say, just tell your coach. Like, tell them everything, and a good coach is gonna learn if they don't know, or refer you onto something else.
That's it.
Yeah, and then just everyone, please know that the way you look is the least important thing about you. The person you are, your heart, how you make other people feel is what they're going to remember about you. They're not going to remember that you've got a little muffin top because it's January and you had fun over Christmas.
Honestly, like, I think that's one of the main take homes as well. So I would say health and like, just, I don't know, like, take for example the way like you might look at like me, like, and I would then actually, and then if I look at you, I would think the same as the way you're looking at me. It's just we all look at like ourselves a bit too much, like in depth, because we can, I suppose. And just try and just stay focused on the end goal. Stay focused on the end goal. Like, and remember, this is actually your choice. And if it is really, oh my god, wait a sec.
Wait a sec, she's just got to do another compact product placement quickly.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, screenshot there. No, if it's like, if it's that bad and you really, really don't like what you're seeing and stuff like that, like, just remember this is your choice, but also remember that just, is this sport for you? That's basically what I'm going to say. Like, you constantly need to be assessing your values. Is this sport for me? Is it making me more sad than happy? Is it just like peer pressure? Do I need to find a different hobby? Like, there are all things to be mindful of, to be fair. I think the more you remind yourself that, like, this is my choice, the easier it is. So yeah, and this has helped me a lot, right? So
I even, like, the way I train and the way I'm kind of molding my body, that's how I want to look. I want to look like an off-season bikini competitor. That's my desired shape. I'm not just doing it to compete. That's what I want to look like in my life.
Yeah,
but I've seen so many girls working against their genetics, trying to waste their muscle off their big legs, for example, or taking insane amounts of steroids to try and bring lagging things up, where it's like, are you doing this for the right reason? But also, are you really built for it? Because it's not for everyone. And there's strength in saying, this isn't for me, you know?
Yeah, 100%, exactly. But yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kerry. I know we have talked about so much. I've never done such a long live, but there was just so many good things being said. And really, thank you everyone for tuning in. I will be doing more of these, and I will be putting this one on my IGTV so people can catch up.
Yes, really, really good. And really, really good to see you, sorry. And if anyone has any, like, questions or, you know, anything, like, you could always reach out. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Kerry. And thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Lots
thank you so much for being on here. Honestly, appreciate it. It always inspires me, even by talking like just talking, you know. It's good.
Just, do you know, love these lives, because you just, even if you feel crap because it's locked down and it's been a bit boring, it's something you're passionate about and you're talking to your friend and you just bounce off each other. And my fire is lit after these.
Exactly.
You know? So maybe that's another tip. Like if you just feel a bit meh, and especially for a long off season, have a chat about competing and the things you love with someone else that also loves it.
It fires you up so much.
Yeah. It really does.
We sit down, we talk about the same things all the time. We've told this story so many times, but we both do it. We'll be like, should we just not watch TV tonight? Should we just sit and talk? And we just start talking about all our competing, and then we're like, fire's lit, and then we're like making plans and sorting this out and that. Like, just keep a fire lit. Engage with other people across your your network, basically. So loads of bicep flexing on my
everybody page. Block Let Us Lift, because I can't even tell you what happened last time. No, Kerry.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you after.
Okay. I don't think I'm gonna know. Right.
But thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Kerry. I'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.